I have agreed to have my company acquired for, based on this article, 110 million.
This goofy crypto guy might have just made the greatest software company ever. He's managed to scale his simple ad tracker to over 100 million in just 3 short years, acquiring huge clients like Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, and Alex Hormozi's Gym Lodge.
I will also say that it's also significantly more because the deal is based on how fast my company Hyros is growing.
But the most shocking part is Alex Becker is the furthest thing from a professional CEO.
This guy's gonna sell me a course, run away with my money, and go spend it on strippers and private jets. I might still try to do that.
I've helped over 457 startups at this point, and after studying Alex Becker's strategy, it's easy to see why he succeeded. So in just 4 simple steps, I'll share exactly how this nerd built Hyros into a SaaS juggernaut and how you can apply these exact same strategies to your own business to gain massive results.
I want to make something huge. I want to make a multi-billion-dollar company.
If you're not using Hyros and you're running ads, I think you're making a huge mistake.
Okay, so the first thing that immediately stands out about his strategy is something everyone seems to overlook, and it's literally killing 90% of businesses today. See, what most founders do is they spend years working and building this complex idea, this revolutionary product that's going to change the whole world as we know it. Except no one actually ends up using the product, and all they're left with is a sack of crippling debt and another 6 years down the drain. Alex Becker was not one of these people, and all he did to escape this trap was solve a very simple problem. I say simple because he's not doing some world-bending behemoth task ultimately. The problem he solved was a huge pain point in the ad industry that a lot of people actually didn't know they had, and the people that did know couldn't find a simple solution.
The problem is it has to fit millions and millions of businesses, meaning that's going to be very, very limited in how it's going to plug into your business and how it's going to fit it like a glove. It's more like putting a trash bag on your hand instead of having a glove.
It was hiding in plain sight, but only Becker could see the issue for what it truly was. If you run a modern business, chances are you either currently run ads or you've probably tried to run ads in the past. The problem Becker noticed arises when you try tracking the ad performance using regular tools like Google, Facebook, or TikTok. These platforms were inflating their tracking reports, making them seem like ads were performing well when in reality they were failing. The issue becomes more alarming when you realize that companies were spending millions on ad campaigns that weren't actually converting, causing them to miss out on profit and increasing their cost to acquire customers. What Becker did to solve this issue at its core was introduce something he called print tracking. See, with traditional ad tracking, when a customer clicks on an ad and follows through to the product on that ad, the information about that customer is stored by the ad platform. This includes things like their email address, their session ID, and their cookie data. But what happens when the same user comes back a month later with a different email? Or what happens when they clear their browser cookies? See, I'm sure some of you smart cookies can already see the issue here. This sort of setup makes it incredibly difficult to determine if the ads are yielding better prospects since there's a lot of duplicates. With Alex Becker's print tracking, you could more accurately track prospects' data way beyond cookies or email because Hyros plugs into every part of the business, leaving no gaps or misreporting. It didn't matter if they switched their device, used a different email, or booked on their phone. You'd be able to tie all of that information to a single user, allowing you to get better data on your ads. When you pair this digital footprint data with ad AI on these platforms, you get ad targeting and attribution on steroids. Yes, this is a real image he put on his blog page. Do not ask me why. Anyway, it was a slightly complex solution, but it was still a clear-cut issue that others had solved in the past. So it's not like he had nothing to work off of. And this is exactly how most successful companies get built. 90% of the time, it's just a rehashed version of an already existing solution. But I'm sure at this point, you are already doubting if that's all there is to his strategy, and you would be right. It's not. See, apart from finding and solving this simple problem, Alex Becker did this key thing that you need to copy. If you understand this, you'll not only make a lot more money, but you'll also make your competition look like preschoolers. And this has to do with finding your competitive advantage. For Becker, who dreamed of dominating competitors like Wicked Reports and Northbeam, he needed to find a way to separate Hyros from the pack.
You know, tracking tech has been around for a while. I'll just be straight up. Every other tracking tech company is going to tell you that's some patent pending bullshit.
Because of the difficulty in using these ad trackers, Becker would settle on making simplicity and ease of use the overarching goal of his company. He figured if we had an excellent tracking that was really easy to use, people would throw money at us.
But our view at Hyros is not only to provide the best tracking on earth. The reason why people haven't gone server side and the reason why people have resisted tracking is because it's difficult, it's complicated, it's just very difficult. Our goal is to make it super easy.
While his competitors at the time had clunky interfaces and confusing metrics, Hyros offered a streamlined, sleek design that made things so much easier for his customers. But what moved Hyros even further was that outstanding customer service. If you ask literally anyone who's used Hyros, you'd find them singing the praises of Alex Becker's support team. This is a small part of his business, but it's really what gained him leverage in the ad space. Because when you use Hyros, it's really hard to switch to something different. First, because business owners rarely switch software tools on average, and second, because their service is so good that any grievances you might have had would be shot down by the Hyros team.
You're going to get a one-on-one person who's going to sit down and set this up for you as much as possible.
All of this positioned Hyros as a premium brand in the ad tracking space. If you look at how good their product is and their fancy terms like print tracking, you'll unconsciously start to see them as the Apple of ad tracking.
Hyros simply works.
This approach to setting themselves apart is really what gave them the leverage to make bold offers in their pricing, thus making them more money than their competitors. However, even if you had an insane competitive advantage, it would be utterly useless if people don't know what you're doing. AKA, you have to sell to people.
This old knife just doesn't cut it anymore. There's gotta be something better.
Now there is.
Wow.
And if you order right now, we'll send you the matching paring knife and bread knife. And during this special offer, you'll also get our special cutting board, knife holder, and cleaning cloth. We're not done yet. You'll also get the mixing bowl set, ice cream trays, and inflatable chair. And today only, we're doubling the offer.
I just need a knife.
When experts hear the words sales and advertising, they're probably thinking of 235 complex funnels that all require some weird 7-layer principle thing. No, toss all of that in the bin and pay close attention to what Becker did. Alex Becker's client acquisition strategy fell right into line with his overarching simplicity goal of Hyros. His video funnels typically feature a compelling ad, which leads to a VSL, proof in the form of testimonials, and a call to action button. That's it. It's pretty standard. Okay, that's not really making any sense. There has to be more to it, right? Surely this isn't how he made 100 million. And you'd be right, but it's probably not in the way that you might think. See, the secret sauce lies in the layers of the funnel. In his ads, Becker follows a formula that helped him sell over 8,200 high-ticket courses and over 18,000 subscriptions to his old software company. In the first 5 seconds of every ad, Becker quickly states his business.
If your business buys ads, I can almost guarantee that your sales tracking is off by 30 to 40%.
Beginners might say this is a really niche intro that doesn't grab much attention. However, this is exactly what you want when you're selling a niche SaaS product. Saying the phrase, if your business buys ads, repels all the people that don't buy ads and can't use Hyros. And then continuing, I can almost guarantee that your sales tracking is off by a specific figure, instantly reels in the target customer. With these first 5 seconds, he's managed to keep his ideal market away from the skip button while preparing them for the next part of his ad.
And I mean guarantee. And frankly, it should terrify you because I work with businesses at Hyros every single day that are spending $1,000, $5,000, even $30,000 per day. Across the board, the default is their sales tracking is off by 30 to 40%. This isn't rocket science. When this happens, one, you're going to turn off ads that are actually profitable.
This part focuses on the pain they're in because of their poor tracking and makes them want to stay for the solution. By the time he's done stressing on the problem, he'll do a call to action which directs viewers to the solution, his Hyros VSL.
The result of this is hamstringing your business by 20% and then also wasting 10 to 15% of your ad spend. That's 5 to 6 figures lost every year that you don't have to because you can click this ad.
The beauty of Becker's ad script is that if a prospect is having trouble following through, he just doubles down on giving them more reasons to find the solution.
This is for info businesses. I've done this for businesses where it's based around sales calls. Look, if you're running ads on a good day, your data is going to be off by 30 to 40% if you're not actively trying to find ways to solve this problem.
When the ad ends, he leaves about 30 seconds of just image testimonials and no audio to not only give prospects one final push, but to also give them extra time to click the ad. By the time they get to his VSL page, they're basically already sold. They just want to see how the solution works, which is done masterfully by Becker himself.
And I want to see the ads that are just losing me money, okay? So I can see all these ads right here that are just tanking. You can see how much money I was actually wasting before I had this set up.
For his website funnel, Alex employed a cheeky strategy of spamming you with reviews, testimonials, and in-depth video explainers on different ways Hyros can help you scale.
Person comes to your site, buys something, performs a certain behavior. Hyros is going to look at how people that have behaved or bought those things in that way have performed over months, years, 5 days, whatever timeline you want to set, and it will predict how much revenue they're going to bring you.
A pretty cool part of his website is if you scroll down for a few minutes, you'll be greeted by someone from their support team asking you if you need any help, which makes them feel like they care about you as a customer. So you see, instead of doing this super weird complex funnel, Becker focused on making each step of the funnel grounded and congruent. The thing you saw when you clicked on the ad is the same thing you see when you land on the web page. This makes the experience so much better for you as a prospect and subconsciously makes them loyal. But so far, all of these acquisition strategies actually seem pretty standard and definitely don't warrant the $100 million price tag. So what did Becker do to put him in these 9-figure conversations?
Here it is. I'm going to show you my Facebook ads that are generating millions of dollars in sales.
The truth is, Alex has always been a polarizing character. He's done his rounds providing value to people for years. So much so that when you see his new product, you just have to check it out. In fact, a small part of his marketing strategy was making training videos in the hopes that one day you might actually use Hyros. Sure, it might take some years, but eventually you'll come back to the person who first taught you how ads actually work.
There is no catch. I want you to make more money from your ads so that you'll then think to yourself, I want to make even more money from my ads, so I'm going to track them using Hyros.
His online presence also gives a sense of certainty to potential company buyers like Banzai who try to acquire Hyros for $110 million. It's not a deal breaker, but having a brand or a presence that people can look at and say, oh, this guy's got a great reputation, he's legit, oh, this is Alex Becker's company, let's give it a try, won't harm anything. I think as we progress through this modern internet landscape, a lot more people are beginning to see the value in having a strong personal brand. Now, I'm not saying that we should all dress up in Pikachu costumes like Alex Becker, but what I am saying is that we should all be open to putting ourselves out there and expressing what we have to offer this world. This has consistently proved to move the needle for many builders like Gary Vee, Alex Hormozi, and even Patrick Bet-David. Alex Hormozi specifically got his company to $250 million in revenue this year, all because of the massive growth of his personal brand. Yes, maybe Alex Becker didn't build something super revolutionary, but the trickle-down effects from his personal brand and the genuine faith he has in his product all made the victory simply a matter of time.
If you don't see results from Hyros, aka you don't make a significant more than Hyros cost you, and whether you are able to build the clients more, get better results, you don't pay for it.
If you enjoyed this breakdown and you run a SaaS company, you can click the link in the description below to work with me directly. If there is a company that you would like me to review, drop it in the comment section. Peace.